So, Ava, you are currently under escort by Senya and Lasir, who have flown you under uh, have flown you via the Angel's Blessing to Sereno to meet up with Captain Tarkin and contacts on. You have been here for a few hours, eluding the authorities. It's actually been a lot easier than you expected. Still surprised by what you found. You knew that Baklit has been engaged in economic warfare with Reno. Didn't realize the scope of how much the effects have played out average person. So, in preparation, you wrote your speech, you changed your appropriate attire, and you're being led into what had at one time been a factory. And you're in one of the large subterranean warehouses of this factory. And according to what Senya has told you so far, leading into it, that it's a sizable turnout. There's a knock on the door, and Lasir opens it as Senya stands guard, and Tarkin walks in with another man. Tarkin walks up and introduces the man. Empress is Kyle Aben. He steps forward. It's Colonel Kyle. Honor to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
As per our agreement as turning captain, I have managed to put the word out, and we have about 230. We have about 200. Jess, can you mute your mic, please?
Yes.
Thank you. We have about 230 men and women that have decided to come. Every last one has been vetted. We are sure of security. More importantly, the vast majority of them former military or have some connection to the military. They all have a grievance situation. Is there anything that you ask of me?
No.
Understood. This way, please. And
And she'll follow.
Tarkin will hold a hand out to Senya. As formidable as you are, Senya, this might not be a place. You mind staying in the back? Senya rolls one of those speeches, smiles. Just, again, kind of puffs. Fine. I didn't want to go out there anyway. He looks at her and no, almost believe that. She smiled. Only because I offended you. This way, Empress. Captain.
Shuffle.
And he'll lead you through the catacombs that subterranean way up to a makeshift stage. And you can tell that people look, feel, you know, the crowd negative doesn't even appear to be directed at you as you stand there in your, imperial garb.
I'm hearing the Jeopardy theme.
All right.
Mike, where did you put the speech? I had it. I lost it.
That's because I took it down.
As a frag Norton Ferd, but dude, I was reading that.
No, that's why I took it down.
Mm.
Don't worry. I'll put it back.
You've upset the Scorpio.
Wow, that was like, not
20.
even difficult.
26.
26? Okay. So you're sitting there and you're gauging the crowd, and like I said, you can definitely feel hostility. You've been following your enemies. You know that Sereno has been a major player in the the Coruscant Jedi's war efforts out here in the Outer Rim, especially since they lost their anchorages on Baklid. The destruction of the battle groups here, on Baklid really forced a heavy burden to the people of Sereno, and you can start to see the cracks developing. And Colonel Aben walks up. She doesn't need any introduction. I won't waste her time or yours. Empress of the Baklid Empire has come all the way here to speak to you. And he motions you to the podium.
She'll go up to the podium.
Stage is yours, sweetheart.
Friends of Sereno, we are here today because, unlike your ruling family, I have heard your cries. I have traveled here disregarding the threats to my very life and under the noses of the Dooku family to speak to you, not as your enemy, but as your friend, as one who understands what it means to be oppressed by the powerful, like you. I know what it feels like to be made to feel powerless by the so-called ruling elite. I understand. And so when I heard your cries, I had to come. I had to risk my own life, if only to give you hope. From afar, I seen the corruption of the Dooku family. I watched them take your hard-earned money and use it in ways you would have never allowed. That is, if they had bothered to listen to the very people who entrusted those funds with them. I have seen them abuse their authority and bring disgrace to this noble world and its proud people. And what fine, proud people are of this world. I look out them faces before me now. I don't see enemies, as the Dooku family would want us to believe. I am here in your very capital, a stone's thrown away from their beloved academy, speaking to you. You are the heart and soul of Sereno. When I look out before me, I see my reflection staring back at me. And are you my enemy? Sure, any one of you could alert the security forces of my presence here on Sereno. But I know you won't. Because unlike what the Dooku or Coruscant believe, oh, I messed up, would like you to believe, we are not your enemies. The real enemy, as it was on my home world, Baklet, is corruption. Corruption and from the core roles. Corruption that would see your hard-earned money stolen from you in the form of unfair taxation and handed over to a religious cult that would use your money to further their beloved family. A place where children are brought from throughout the Outer Rim and given steak and expensive eggs to eat while your own children eat oatmeal. I was on the world for more than an hour when I saw with my own eyes 2 mothers struggling to feed their infants. My heart weeps for you of Sereno. Never in my wildest dreams would I imagine that things would have grown so bad out here. Far beyond the capital and the media, there are shelves which are empty. I have received reports from children from Wales being given fresh, brand new clothing paid for by your taxes. And she'll continue on with the speech, which will be posted up because the player, am struggling to read it.
It's okay. You're doing fine.
Oh no, that was it. I was gonna let the rest of it be post of.
Baby, you're killing me.
Okay, when we pull the party, do you guys want me to continue reading?
That's up to you.
Leaving that to your comfort level, Jess.
Exactly. Your comfort level.
I fourth that sentiment.
Ava's speech is posted.
I'll just read it in my head in with
Ava,
Fox's
Nazi?
speech pattern.
In the Nazi-esque manner?
go ahead if you guys want to. Go ahead and read it, and we'll I'll pick up the scene once you guys catch up.
Put on some funky background music to fill up the space on the audio while we're doing this.
I don't know if I can put funky background. Oh, you know what? I
And
can.
you pause
You mean,
it.
I was gonna say, you mean like the ship of the dead, maybe?
Actually, I was gonna do. If I can do this.
Scorching heat today. Stay cool out there.
Walter! Stop suffering with hot AC. Cool it yourself with AC Pro. In just 3 easy steps, enjoy the comfort of 2 times the cooling boosters from the #1 selling coldest air. Nothing cools like AC Pro.
And this is how we load the mix-ins into Blue Bunny's loaded treats. Who wants to do the...
Oh, me!
Oh, so perfect. Astra Delphinium Dooku, is that our Astra?
Yes and no. Astra is Princess Astra Core Delphinium, and she was adopted into the Dooku family, but that is not actually her name.
Aha.
It's funny because you can like hear the frustration in Astra's voice when she answered that question.
Yeah, it's more frustration with myself because I should not have been dumb enough to allow Astra to freaking trust Ava.
She had no reason not to.
She still has no reason not to.
Oh, I know. I'm the player. I'm just if that makes sense.
Oh, it's fake news source CNN. CNN stand for, dude.
Coruscant News Network.
God, I'm banging my head on the keyboard.
Hey, look, I told you, I took my jar of Trump and just smeared Trump all over what Jess gave me. I think Fredbot is,
It's because Fredbot has taste. Fredbot's a Democrat, damn it.
apparently he is. We done?
I am, despite my computer's best effort.
God damn it.
Yep, I'm done.
There you go. Got it. If I made any errors, please let me know. Thank you. Correct that. Thank you for pointing that out, Durro. Where are you talking bear? Oh, I see.
Okay, I read it.
Took it better than I.
Hmm.
You took it better than I expected you.
Oh, I'm still kind of irritated about that nonsense, but at the same time, it gives what? Sorry. At the same time, it also gives Astra an out when she comes back. Because they're looking for an Astra Delphinium Dooku. So something tells me that no one knows, or Ava has not used the name Kore. So she can go back to using that name pretty easily. And obviously she's gonna need to dye her hair.
Cut it wicked, wicked short.
And cut it, just saying.
No, her hair wasn't that long when she attacked Nova and Ava.
How many years has it been since that happened?
I
About a
don't know.
year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
It has. Then it was that long. I mean, she might have grown another couple of inches or so, but not a couple of feet. Not in a year.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't see Ava cutting her or Astra cutting her hair.
Then she will be arrested. Plain and simple.
Not necessarily. If her hair's not the same color anymore, she's not. Goodness.
Believe me when I tell you I would recognize Crystal Gale by her hair regardless of what color it is.
I don't know.
Jess, are you ready to continue?
Yes.
Okay. So I rolled. I made a couple dice rolls for you. Your acting was stellar. So well on your bluff, but there wasn't a whole lot to bluff with, so it's not that. It's not going to affect you that terribly. Overall, it was a good speech. I do need you to make a charisma check, not charisma, diplomacy check. You can take 10 if you want.
She'll take 10.
Okay, so you guys got to remember, you don't always have to roll. When I say make a roll, you can always say I'm taking 10. So taking 10 is going to wield you a 24. So you go ahead and you deliver your speech. There are applauses, and you're escorted off stage. And you go ahead and you're gonna be escorted back to the room where Senya and Lasir are waiting. I have a question, says Colonel Aba. Excuse me, Colonel Abe. Sorry, Aben. I have a question, Colonel Aben said. Did you really
And she'll,
mean it? Sorry. Go ahead.
sorry. And she'll turn and look at him and then nod her head for him to answer his,
Did you
to ask
really
his question.
did you really mean
Sorry.
it that you are not going to send forces here as long as we don't ask for them?
Of course.
We don't want to become subjects to Baklik. That is not what we want. We just want the status quo to change.
Something we can both agree with.
Good. There's a knock on the door, and excuse me, opens the door, and they're being talked to by one of his people. Nods and closes the door. Just been informed that security patrol not far from. Time for you to go, Emperor.
She'll nod her head as she runs her hands through her hair, changing its color to a blonde. It's long.
You are blonde.
Oh, to a black. Sorry.
You are black with, or you are blonde with shoulder length hair, baby girl.
A blonde. To a black that's like short.
He looks surprised. It's amazing. Do that.
Nanonites.
And he looks confused, and Lasir smiles. Micro droid. And he's like, oh, imagine. And Senya walks up, puts her hands out for both men. All right. The Empress needs a change if we're going to get her out of here safely, so mind waiting in the hall. And they'll both nod, and they'll be escorted out, and you change back into clothes that you snuck in on. Then
And she changes it. Oh, yeah.
after they change and start heading out, Senya will take the lead and steer right behind her, with you directly behind her, Captain Tarkin walking next to you in guard position.
And she'll follow them as they leave.
And Tarkin will lean in. I want to thank you, Emperor. I don't believe anything short of hearing it from your family. Their influence is near, despite cracks.
And she'll nod her head in agreement. I just hope we can get them on our side.
Well, like I said, your presence here went sure that. even if they lose, it will be enough to disrupt the Dooku family.
Good. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by the text by far. Look outside now. And once that happens, we can easily move in, hopefully dissolve them once and for all.
Agreed. The Angel's Blessing, once we get you back to your turn, monitor.
That is good to hear. Thank you.
They go ahead and sneak you back to the vehicle, and you guys are escorted out of the capital back to the Angel's Blessing by Colonel Avon's men. And then you guys depart world.
So that happened.
All right, we'll go ahead and pause just there. I think she's running out of steam.
Yeah.
Back on the gun gear, do you guys have, is there any reason why I can't fast forward the 12 and a half hour, slow drip towards the world? Can I put you on the world?
I was kind of looking forward to role playing 12 hours worth of checkers, but sure, go ahead and put us on the world.
Don't make me lick your nose.
Wow.
Dude, if you're gonna role play 12 hours of checkers with Hodge, I will let the recording roll.
Don't
Oh,
get
yeah.
smoke there.
Checkers. Massive air quotes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still let the recording roll.
Strip sabak.
No, that's okay.
There will certainly be pieces jumping around, but it's not the ones you think.
I'm okay with skipping ahead. I wasn't sure if we would like get stopped by Quinn at all on our way to Warkinles or not.
No, actually, so as you guys approach and travel through the system, you spot the Gungnir was right. There are no less than 6 capital ships here, but there's also no less than 12 smaller warships as well.
These are all Sith ships?
They are.
Well, that's more than 7.
Running silent.
Fortunately, so are we. You said how many capital ships?
No, There is no less than 6 visually identified.
And 12 smaller ships? Seems the Queen is in residence.
Are all of us on the flight deck to see this?
By the time you get this close to the system, yes. Or this close to the planet, yes.
And where are the girls?
Tucked away safely in their quarters.
Wonderful.
So Tesara looks at Durro. Your call.
I think he's already made his plans known. We need the repairs, and we can't run from this.
And we need the supplies.
Sorry, out of character, I was dealing with a feline crisis and missed most of the description. Just give me the quick and dirty. I don't need the whole thing.
No less than 6 capital ships, no less than 12 smaller warships. All of them running silent, and all of them in Atmo around planet?
Yes.
It's a blockade. I feel honored. It's not often that I have an entire planet blockaded on my account.
Just raises an eyebrow at him.
All right, it's not on my account. He'll look over at Astra. It's on hers.
And Astra looks like she wants to disappear.
Again, you should feel honored. I can't remember the last time an entire planet was blockaded for little old me.
I have an out of character question.
Have an out of character answer.
Have we spent any time with Ashanti learning how to better use the force defense?
Been 12 hours.
I'd guess the answer is no.
Okay.
I mean, who has the give me a second here.
I have a second out of character question when you get done with the Tesara.
Okay, who has the following skills? Force defense, force stealth.
I do.
have force stealth.
Okay. So those are the 2 skills you would be looking for.
Okay.
Are we going to deploy those skills, or what are we doing?
I'm kind of waiting on Durro to see what he says.
Unless anybody says anything, the Gungnir is going to continue on and land.
I had an out of character question.
Go ahead with your out of character question.
Is it actually a blockade, as in we have to run same to land, or are they just sort of covering and making their presence really well known?
There is no evidence of anyone moving to intercept you. However, there are transports moving from planet to warships, and there are fighter screens in upper atmosphere.
So are we planning to land, or what are we doing?
We really have no choice. We are very nearly out of food, and the ship needs a complete overhaul. But by the placement of the capital ships and the activity of transports, and out of character, am I correct in assuming a lack of coming and going, just general space traffic?
There is general space traffic, but it seems a lot less since the last time you were here. Gungnir reports, Captain, we have received permission to land, and
Not the
they are preparing maintenance facilities.
It's not
Right.
getting
Well,
on the world that's going to be the problem. It's getting off.
okay, people, out of character. I interrupted myself to ask an observation question, so unless Gungnir and Hodge both interrupted Durro mid-sentence, I wanted to finish it.
Terribly
Please
sorry. Please go ahead.
ask your question.
So, Durro, I'll just continue where I left off. He said, based on the placement of the capital ships, the activity of the transports, and the general lack of space traffic, makes me think that this is an occupied world, not a blockade. The Sith must be taking supplies, whether purchased or by force, from Warp. But it does seem trade is a lot less.
We'll have to be careful then.
And
Indeed.
if they are actually on the planet, the chances of us personally getting recognized, or even though we're running hidden, Gungnir being recognized, it's not getting down there that's going to be the problem. It's going to be getting off the planet.
Well, I have every confidence in our ability to escape should we need to. But let's hope that the Gungnir gets resupplied and overhauled before that becomes a necessity.
It makes some sense to split up the shopping list so that we can cover more ground.
The facilities that we need to resupply and overhaul are all in the spaceport. As I understand it, the professor and handyman were able to resupply while we were all in the market on our first day here.
That is correct. We can easily acquire this while at the
It may be prudent not to make our way into the market or the surrounding areas. We should stick to the spaceport and close to the Gungnir.
What about just simple recognizance to find out what's happening?
Well, if you think you can be stealthy about it, by all means, information is power.
Durro.
Yeah.
Since a presence, it's one. It's a familiar presence. It's on the planet. It's almost confuses you. So, give me an intelligence check.
I knew you would ask. I'm trying to load roll 20. But again, my watch is crapping out.
I was trying to give you time. That.
Oh, I'm not blaming you. Intelligence check is 8, plus whatever bonuses he gets for being Master Captain Thanos.
Well, like I said, feels very familiar.
Presence I've not felt since. So unfortunately, that's all I get. Just it feels familiar.
Well, I'll tell you this much. It's not one of those like a presence I haven't felt since, because you feel that presence near you, and now you feel it afar.
Aha! Curious.
What is?
Just an odd feeling I have in the Force.
Would you like to vague that up for us, Captain?
Yes, the mystical energy field that binds all living things has bound me to another living thing on the planet's surface.
Bondage?
As if getting a sense, a tingle.
All right then.
An awareness of that of which I was not previously aware. Am I vague enough yet?
Oh, you're just excellent vagueness. Vagueness. Spot on, sir.
Anyone else's mind going to inappropriate places?
Of course. Who do you think we are?
Well, I would certainly hope so. And when he says that, he looks directly at Hodge.
Oh dear. Well, whatever this said presence is, I believe you should follow your nose. But I have the ability to conceal myself in the Force, and have some ability to disguise myself. So, if you want me to, I can go out, try and get some information about what is going on.
I will leave that up to you. I will be busy resupplying the ship and getting our overhaul underway.
Don't think any one of us should be left alone. If we go in twos and threes.
Agreed.
Normally I'd agree, but if Tesara is trying to be stealthy, do either of you have the requisite stealth skills in your repertoire?
Anyone who would have seen me on the last visit would not recognize me now.
Unless it's through the Force.
It would be easier for me to go alone. I don't plan on being gone very long, half an hour to an hour at most. I have my comm link, and I won't go terribly far from the ship. I would just like to go out, find perhaps a pub, bar, and do some listening, and then leave. If anything happens or I get in trouble, I will notify you.
Now I wonder where she learned that trick.
Learned what trick?
He gives a slight grin and says, going to a pub or a cantina, listening for information.
Oh, I learned from the best.
Indeed you did.
Still think you should have a shadow.
Are you volunteering?
Don't see why not. Won't travel with her, but be close by in case anything goes on.
And in case something happens to you, I would be close by?
See how well that plan works?
Fine. I'm going to get a cloak that I have that has a hood. I'll be putting my hair up and putting on some dirtier clothes that I once had in my trunk that I don't wear very often. Pair of boots, my blaster, maybe, and that's about it. So I will. The only thing you don't have is the ability to hide yourself in the Force. So please don't call upon the Force or use it unless it is absolutely dire.
Noted.
Great. I'll see you at the sorry, players having the dumb. What's that called? The reloading ramp? Okay, going with that. I'll see you at the loading ramp in 20 minutes.
All right. I'll see you there.
Great. And Tesara heads for her room. I do have disguise. So do you want me to roll disguise and force defense and force stealth?
Yes.
Okay, force stealth 18,
Okay.
force defense 17, disguise 15.
Okay. Make sure you record those.
Okay, hang on.
I would want to roll enhance senses.
Okay. Be in
She
mind,
also
any force power that you activate that not for both of you, force powers you activate, make sure you track the time restraint.
Oh, I don't even know what the time restraint on that is. Oh, rules
Ooh.
lawyer.
That, my friend, is what the rules book is for.
Oh, rules lawyer.
Durro pridefully.
Sorry, last I heard was rules lawyer.
I was looking for a ruling on it.
Yeah, she was literally calling you and stepped up saying, "That's what the rules are for." And I was like, oh, okay. It's literally calling him.
Would hide be applicable in this situation if I wanted to move with stealth throughout the market, trailing Tesara?
Hide is your ability to hide, not invisible.
What move silently would be.
Yep.
Okay, so hang on a second. So the table I just pasted into text chat by the fire. Force defense, action type full round. Force stealth, full round.
Right.
Those are 4 skills only.
What I was more looking at was the actual skill itself. So, force defense.
Force defense only lasts 10 rounds or 1 minute. So that's if you keep it active the whole time you're bar crawling, it is going to eat up your vitality.
Okay.
So if you have an exceptionally good roll, you can hold the roll until you say, "I'm activating my skill."
Okay, how's that going to work? Because I rolled already.
If you have a good roll, you hold your roll and then until you say, "Hey, I'm activating my skill."
Okay. So she's not going to activate it yet.
Correct.
Do you need me to paste the disguise information?
No, guys will last until the game is over.
Thank you. So do we need anything else before we move forward?
I'm just waiting for Hodge. Say she's ready to move forward.
No, I'm good.
You good? Okay. So after Hodge and Tesara leaves the bridge, the ship is starting its approach into them when Gunyer calls over to the captain. Moment, please.
Durro will move over to see what Gungnir needs.
There is a slight problem.
What kind of problem?
Loads up an image of the moon. Here's the moon is quaking slightly.
And what might cause it to do so?
Something generating gravity. I don't detect any anomaly, so my suspicion is shadow.
I see. Well, we are running on silent, and it does not seem we are recognized. I will keep that in mind. Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
You're welcome. And the Gungnir goes ahead and lands. Unless you need, Captain. Handyman and I will end to the vision.
Well, I'll come with you. As ship's quartermaster and now acting captain, I would like to keep an eye on what is being purchased and loaded.
Astra, what are you doing?
I have no idea at the moment. I think she's still on the bridge.
Technically,
I think
And
technically so is Durro.
what should I do, Master?
I would like at least one of us, preferably as many as are not actively doing something, to stay with the ship. If we need to leave in a hurry, I would hate to have to try to gather everyone from all over Warkinles.
So stay here and keep an eye on the ship.
He'd smile brightly at her as if he had a great idea. You could help load the supplies we purchase.
Well, that's kind of a no-brainer, Master.
Excellent. Will really save on wear and tear on the load lifters if you pick up the odd crate or two.
Funny.
I wonder if Warkinles has any child labor laws.
Why?
Though considering who is in orbit, it would probably be best if the girls didn't show themselves outside the ship.
Yeah, the girls should stay hidden.
Agreed. Durro is going to try to get Tesara off to the side before she leaves the ship.
Okay. So as you turn to leave the bridge, you hear Shantae's voice. And us did promise me time.
Time on Warkinles?
Yes.
Out of character, I'm blanking on what she is talking about.
Testing the distance of how far she can Astra.
Right. Well, if you would like to attempt to accompany Hodge and Tesara, see how far you can get before you vanish.
Was thinking about that station.
But as far as I know, Astra isn't going anywhere. And if you're staying with me, and both Astra and I are staying with the ship, you're not getting your test.
Dies. Fine. Go with Tesara.
You misunderstand me. It is up to you. If you want the test, then accompany the others into the market and into the city. If you want the conversation with me, I'll gladly have it with you, but then you won't get your test.
This isn't.
I see. I thought you were interested as well. Very
Fine.
well, you can.
Sorry, I stepped on you.
Very well, you can stay with Astra and I on the ship and speak with me about whatever it was you wanted to speak with me about. Though it will have to be while we are loading supplies.
And Durro,
And
I'm not gonna make you roll for this. She's doing a force projection. You can sense her through the force, a manifestation of a massive light.
okay.
Saying
And what is the purpose of the light?
no. You misunderstand. She would, yeah, actually, Hodge got it right there. I mean, like a beacon.
A beacon in the Force?
Yes.
Then to Ashanti he would say, if I didn't know any better, I'd think you were trying to lure Quinn here.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about the very obvious beacon that I can feel in the Force.
Conversation. The only way I can. And she fades.
Durro nods in understanding.
So you turn to leave the bridge, and stepping out of our quarters and dress ready for action. Fury. I'm ready, Master.
Excellent. You can join the others in your living quarters.
She generally looks confused. Master.
You seem to be under the mistaken impression that we are going out into the city. outside the spaceport. You would be mistaken. As the ship's quartermaster and now acting captain, I'm overseeing the resupply. I'm not going anywhere. And considering who is in orbit above the planet, I think it's best that you and the others don't make yourselves seen outside the ship.
He looks disappointed, but nods. Yes, master.
Stay with the others, keep them calm, keep them entertained. I don't know how long we'll be here. I'll let you all know as soon as I know something.
Yes, master. I will tend to my task. Turns and heads to her. You head out and find Tesara just a room. Guys.
Durro would put on a mock defensive pose and say, "Whoa, who goes there? You're not allowed on the Gungnir."
Well, apparently my disguise is pretty good, huh?
Oh, Tesara! Is that you under there? Yes, that is an excellent disguise.
She sticks her tongue out at you but laughs. Is there anything in particular you want me to be listening for?
Yes. How about Orchid?
She looks honestly surprised. All right. So does this mean you've decided to go to Elysium before Prelock?
I don't know. Still following the currents of the Force. Speaking of which, the presence I felt on the bridge felt very much like a presence that was still on the Gungnir.
She frowned.
And seeing as the presence of Orchid has come up in conversation within the last couple of weeks, since leaving Origin, that was immediately where my mind went. A familiar presence, one very much like one still on the ship, Orchid being
Ah,
this universe's version of your mother.
yes, it's possible she's here.
So, do I want you looking for anything in particular? Yes. Keep an eye open for your not mother.
She
She
nods at him.
she may be close by.
I will definitely keep an eye out. Hopefully, nobody recognizes me as her, like looking like this.
Indeed. And if you do find her, depending on what intel she provides, will help make the decision where we go next.
Agreed.
May the Force be with you.
And you as well. And she pulls her hood back up and turns to look to see if Hodge is coming.
Coming around the corner right now.
Wow.
Definitely doesn't look like she would stand out. I say mocking.
Well, that will draw the attention to you and not me.
Win.
She looks over at Durro to see what his expression is.
I like it. Very stealthy, from a certain point of view.
It's meant to draw attention away from Tesara. And
Well, it will certainly accomplish that.
and I think you'd be surprised what is or is not walking around out there. I may blend in with the crowd.
Sorry, I was typing. Yes, absolutely. Are you ready to go?
So
So,
you two go ahead and easily depart the spaceport. Now, as you depart the spaceport, I do have to tell you there are Sith about. So let me show you what they look like. So, no question.
Here comes another picture of Ashanti.
Uh-huh. I try to be original. I try to give you guys pictures. Laugh at me.
About's fair play.
But it is so fun to laugh at you.
I know. It is.
We're not laughing at you, Mike. We're laughing near you. Subtle but important difference.
That's the two general way they look.
Sith on steroids?
well, well.
They're more machine now than man.
So they definitely have a strong presence on the across the spaceport.
Good thing I've been working out with that remote. Because I can't take that shot to the chest.
Nobody's going to get shot today.
You guys do make it off the spaceport on your mission.
So she just walks and heads into, I mean, she's been to this place before.
Yep.
So she remembers the layout. And so she'll just go to a place she remembers seeing and, keep watch.
The furry like people seem a little. They seem more afraid than they were the last time. It's obvious why. Every so often, you'll see, a hover. You'll see a repulsor craft come over, armed troops on patrol. Armed troops through the streets. This is a city that's been occupied, but there's surprisingly very little damage.
Can she tell how long it's been like this?
Not there's okay. So I'll give you three pieces of information that you come to the shock hasn't worn off. However, they've people have started to come out of their homes, start moving about, you know, trying to get their daily lives going. And what damage there is, the rubble has already been cleared. It's not been pushed to the side, cleared. Some you fresh battle damage repaired.
Okay. How far behind me or ahead of me is Hodge?
No,
Okay.
because her job is to be healthy.
Yeah. All right. So she just she heads for pub.
Okay. You find a pub. And you move in, and it's occupied mostly by locals. There's also a lot of uh, non-locals. Also, about a good 10 of them.
Is it anybody that she has seen before from when she was here?
No.
Okay, so she goes up to the bar and orders a drink and finds a seat.
Okay. And you're served a bar and served a drink. Go to sit down, and the talk of the bar is invasion. A lot of questions like, what's going on? Why are they?
Right. Can I roll or take 10 on listen to hone in on anything in particular?
Can, but you notice a traveler not from this world. You've seen his species before. You haven't seen him, but you've seen his species before, so you know he's chaos, but he's not of this world. He's sitting there by himself, a little frustrated.
So she kind of like moves her body so that she can see him better and puts the glass up to her mouth to take a look at him to see if he's talking to anybody.
He's sitting by himself. He has food in front of him. Periodically taking bites out of some type of.
Okay. Is anybody looking at him with any different kind of expression or attitude?
Not really.
So she notices him because she's seen his race before, but she's never seen him before.
Right.
But she gets a sense that he might be important.
Feels like that.
All right, so she's just going to sit there for a while, maybe 15 minutes, and watch him. She's also trying to pay attention to the other people in the bar and what they're saying and anything that might come up in regards to him.
Well, no one's talking about him or to him. They're just more, like I said, the people of this world are frustrated.
Has anybody used the word Sith?
No.
What's the loudest person in the bar saying?
That's the thing. There's no one speaking loud.
Okay. She has she spotted where Hodge is?
Give me a spot.
$13.
Hodge, give me a hide.
Only 4.
You do not spot.
Okay. So she gets up from the bar. She goes to bring her cup back because it's empty. And asks for another drink. And she asks the barman, when are they going to leave, do you think?
No problem. I posted a picture of your wayward traveler, but
Got it.
they rolled in here about 3 weeks ago. Overran the defense before they had a chance to launch from their fighter, their wingers.
She makes a face. And they've destroyed quite a bit in their wake.
To know, Southern continent.
Oh, so maybe they're looking for something or someone?
Think did a house-to-house search the first week of their arrival.
Well, I hope whoever they're looking for isn't here.
Whoever they're looking for is here, so they'll leave.
Yeah, but maybe they'll get bored, or maybe they'll find them and then move on. This place is nice without them here.
Yes, it
It's
is
been a
nice.
couple of months and I've been here, but it's not much nicer without them.
Tesara, you feel cold through the force.
Okay, out of character question.
Yes.
In order to pull the force stealth and the force defense, does she send up any kind of flare, if you will, that she's using the force?
Well, not if you do force stealth. That's kind of what it's for. But if you do force defense, yes.
Okay,
And,
well, the first. Sorry, go ahead.
and force defense will negate a force stealth roll.
Oh, she's gonna do force stealth then. I rolled an 18 at the first time.
Okay. Here they come. Just as he says that, group of 2 Sith with their armed escorts walk in. These are more traditional than what Tesara expects to see. The black robes, the lightsabers from the hips. They're definitely, minions. And they're not necessarily human. In fact, they're both alien looking with like tendrils off their chins.
Hmm. She just kind of moves around casually, puts her elbow on the bar, and glances at the dude that you shared the picture of, that she's been kind of paying attention to see his reaction to them entering.
You notice he's kind of made himself a little bit less conspicuous. He's kind of moving his hand to cover his face, and just trying not to attract attention.
Interesting. Well, she doesn't say that, but she's thinking that's interesting. I missed out of character. I missed a question that Hodge posted on Text Chat by the Fire. Does anybody mention Quinn or the Sith Queen at all?
No. They
Okay.
they will mention Quinn. Um, uh, Not necessarily by name, but as the military commander who gave the big speech.
Okay.
That this world was now under the dominion of the Sith Queen.
Okay. So she's gonna move back to the table where she was sitting before, with the drink, and sit down and just pay attention.
Okay. Well, they come in. They make a round, looking around. You don't have to have it active, but you're pretty sure they're using the Force. Sends people. Hodge, you have Force stealth. They center on you and start approaching you. And as they start approaching you, them spreading out to your 3 and 7 o'clock vector. One actually draws his hand.
Gentlemen,
You are registered.
I'm not a navigator at all.
Then you
Beg your pardon?
will come.
I don't understand. Why would you want anything to do with me? I'm sitting having a drink.
Because
I beg your pardon?
didn't stutter.
I beg your pardon. I look like a Jedi.
You think a Jedi has a specific
Long robes, lightsaber. Am I getting warm? They look more like you than they do me.
Yes, but you are not sensitive.
She shrugs and looks at him.
Out of character, what are the people in the bar doing while this interrogation is happening?
The general population of the bar has moved away from Hodge, and everybody else is being fascination with whatever the hell happens to be in front of them. That is the general population.
And what of our dude?
Give me a spot check.
Ooh, 21.
He's being very clever, not paying it. You notice some type of weapon.
Okay. Pulling the party.
I mean, you can sit there and do nothing. You can alert Durro to what's going on. Or you can try and rescue Hodge.
Okay. Anybody else? I mean, thank you. Thank you for your input. You're correct. I just don't know which option to do. Anybody else?
Well, I think all of your options have been pretty accurately summed up. I mean, you could try to diffuse the situation with, diplomacy, talking, not being threatening, but I'm not sure how to describe what I mean.
Thanks. What's happening now? Is Hodge still sitting?
He is still sitting.
Gentlemen, I do believe there's been some misunderstanding. Please, have a seat. Join me for a drink.
Get up, he says, grabbing the table and jerking it. The other one is now arming himself
with
his lightsaber.
He pulled the saber in the bar.
Yeah, it's in his hand. He hasn't activated it.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry if I'm trespassing. I'll get in my ship and go. Didn't
no,
realize.
you'll come with us.
Believe there's
Tesara
been
gets up.
again, gentlemen. I believe there's been some misunderstanding.
Sorry, you go to get up and you feel a hand on your shoulder. But before that, I need you to roll a spot listen check.
Oh, 27 with a nat 20.
So right before you felt the hand on your shoulder, you heard very, very silent steps moving up behind you. Soft hand on
Okay.
and there's Mr. Insect sitting.
So she was about to stand up, but he stopped her. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Okay. So she glances over at him and kind of cocks her head to the side, like, do we have a plan?
Just hand gesture to people. And over to Hodge. There hasn't been a mistake. There hasn't been. I'll ask you one time. Stand.
Stand up. Oh, you can see the snark getting ready to come out of her mouth. Gentlemen, it's been a long flight. Came in here to relax. Please join me.
Give me a second.
Oh, come on. She's actively not trying to engage in a fight. She held back her snark and everything.
Hodge, can you please give me a will save? D18.
See, if you hadn't given me the DC, I could have used the dang heart skill, the character trait thing, man. Yeah, it's a +1, but I have to make the call after the player roll, but before the GM announces the check.
Yeah, I didn't give you a pause.
Yeah, well, that's true too. All right, hang on.
Waiting.
23.
Okay. So he holds his hand out, and you feel a wave of force roll over you. Like a, a wave of water washing over you. I mean, it could have been powerful, but it wasn't because you were able to push through it.
Mhm.
The other one takes a step back, and you hear the telltale signs of a lightsaber from the one directly in front of you, who is now sidestepping to stand directly in front of you. Partner has stepped back out of the way. His focus is going on the people around him. Two armored men that escorted them appear to looking like they're preparing for combat.
We really need to resort to weapons?
No. Stand.
She takes a big sigh. And she stands up in front of them.
Turn and put your hands on the.
Please put your weapon away. There's no need for that. And there are innocent people here.
Turn.
All right. Oh, do I dare? Okay. She does that, and it's all over.
Maybe.
You've already, huh?
Maybe.
To what end?
You're under arrest
Having a drink.
for being a Jedi.
Oh dear. Now, see, we've had this conversation. Do I look like a Jedi to you? I have no weapon. Well, no lightsaber at any rate. Isn't that one of the telltale markers?
No.
No. I'm confused. I thought they were never seen without their lightsabers. Weapon of choice and all that. What proof do you have? Check the order registry. You'll not find my name on it. Did I lose you, Mike?
Nope. 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 That's what it's. What's your. No, I didn't.
And Hodge dies right here. Being nice and everything.
But really, okay, so he swings on Hodge. The blow narrowly misses. Doesn't seem phased by the miss. Not gonna.
His astonishment, she doesn't flinch.
Fair enough.
Turn around. Put my hands on the wall. Seems a disadvantageous place for me to be, given the circumstances, and rude to you and your companions. If you insist. She'll turn and put her hands on the wall.
You'll hear one lightsaber deactivate and the other one activate. You feel hands moving over your body. Are you armed?
No, she did not take the blaster pistol with her.
Okay, so you have no weapons on you, correct?
Correct.
And you'll feel an energy cuff slap onto your right arm and pull it behind your back, and a hand pulling your left arm behind your back. And the energy cuff will slap it into place. And he'll not so gently pull your hair away from your neck and slap an energy collar on your neck. Just in case you do something.
With all due respect, have I done anything foolish thus far? I mean, you and your friends are the ones brandishing weapons. And what do you expect me to do?
He takes both sides of your head, forces it back, and then forces your face into the wall. You're right. Haven't done any.
Ow.
Take 4 wound points.
Oh, man!
I know. I rolled it. I'm like, okay, this should be pretty easy. And 4. Holy shit!
Ow.
He hit her face hard.
And now she's bleeding.
And they'll pretty roughly pull you off the wall and drag you out of the bar. And the other one will be like, continue your day, citizens. This one has been arrested. As they
Can I?
take you out of the bar. Yes, you can speak up.
So at least 5 times she moved forward like she was going to stand up. Did he stop her every time?
Oh, yeah. And each time he'll kind of motion to the people around you.
And she finally turns and she's glaring at him. I don't want them to get hurt either, but that's my friend. Where are they taking her? Who are you? Well then,
Sorry, go ahead.
well then, if you're a friend, I'll trust you to help us.
Friend.
Considering the fact that she just drugged out of here and didn't try and attack them, pretty sure with those cuffs on, she's not going to be able to do much.
Tries and very unceremonious. Sever her.
She looks horrified at that.
Must act decisively. One.
Which one?
Fail. Vastly.
This isn't the first time you've done this, then.
Actually,
As did I. She doesn't yet know how.
she out.
It's a long story. Listen, I'm going to trust you. I'll do whatever you say. I just need to make her. Need to stop her from getting on the transport, or for her head to be severed. Please.
Oh.
And she follows him.
Okay, and we're gonna end your scene right there.
Okay.
So, Durro.
Yeah.
It is a fabulous day of shopping at the spaceport. Surprisingly, the Sith haven't destroyed the supplies or taken them. Stores are fully stocked.
What was all the transport activity then?
Good question.
If he surreptitiously asks, what is the answer?
Oh, he'll have to surreptitiously.
So is that where we're starting? Mid-loading?
Well, mid shopping.
I thought everything was done at the spaceport.
No, it is. It's just you're moving from vendor to the vendor.
Gotcha.
And I want to give you an opportunity to ask your question, even answer.
With all the ships moving between the surface and the ships in orbit, I'm a little surprised to find so much inventory here.
When the Sith first arrived, says the vendor you're speaking, we feared they were pillage the entire city. Imagine our surprise. Didn't. They only took a few people. They would take one or two of the crew members with them. The Navigators Guild cleaned out.
Taken by the Sith?
Yes.
So the transports are moving people.
Didn't hear from me.
No, of course not.
They're doing. Spare.
Well, that would fit their MO. Not that I know anything about the Sith.
There was one trader, Vani. He frequented here very often. Then, when he arrived, had a new crew member with his ship. Quaint little girl. Sweet. Despite the fact that he was keeping her as a slave. Cheerful. Massacred the entire crew. Say the girl. Took her with them.
But it doesn't sound like there are often massacres when they detain members of various crews.
That was the only time we've ever seen them anything.
I wonder what the cause was.
No. At first, they didn't even give him and his ship a second glance until saw the girl moving about the market here. One of their monsters saw it. You might as well say that was the moment life cast asunder.
Curious.
But you're not the only edge lord I've seen. Their leader is an edge lord.
Who's leader, the Sith?
Yes. He's the
Oh no,
one. He's the one that led the invasion.
oh no, he's not an edge lord. Those are a very specific group of people. He's just an edgeling, I believe everyone confuses us for.
What about the other girl? A few weeks ago, before the Sithera.
Which one? I'm sure you get a lot of girls, women coming through here.
Yes, but you're like the third, no, fourth edge lord or thing I've ever seen in my life.
I see. Does seem this part of space is becoming more popular.
But this one hides from the Sith.
The one who was here before they arrived.
She seemed to know they were coming. Skittish little thing with fire. What you call it? Hair, right?
Yes, that is correct.
She was here at the market, spaceport. She hasn't left since she arrived. She was buying supplies, food stuff mostly. And then she turned to the sky, almost like a sense of horror on her. Then again, you edgelings are so confusing to read. Still, she made her purchase, vanished towards her hangar.
Is she still hiding there?
And so, I haven't seen her strange craft depart.
Hiding, no doubt. Well, thank you for your time and the information. Not that I got any from you.
Of course, and thank you for your purchases. It's not often I get to speak to strange.
Indeed, one of life's little pleasures.
I can bring a pair of edgeling couple. Maybe you'll be tempted to sell me your offspring. Wouldn't mind having a collection here.
An interesting offer. Is it common practice to sell one's young in this part of space?
No, edgeling. Seriously, not.
Oh, fair enough.
You do, maid. And have young, do you not?
Yes, but not as often as some people seem to think.
That's disappointing. If you do, plenty of and supplies.
Durro will give a slight smile and say, I will keep that in mind.
Thank you. Oh, and just to make sure you understand, I promise not to eat. Just, it's a fascinating species.
I could say the same of you. And And he'll start gathering up whatever supplies he's purchased and arrange to have them loaded on the ship.
Okay. What else are you doing?
Well, if the buying has been finished, he is going to go find Astra.
You're not going to look for the hangar?
No, first things first. You always got to let someone know where you're going.
Okay. You do have a comlink.
Yes, but transmissions can be intercepted.
Fair point. Okay. You escort the supplies back to the ship, and you find Astra at the ship helping unload. Well, load up onto.
And Durro will take her aside for a moment.
Master.
So I have received some very interesting information.
About.
The Sith aren't loading supplies from here, they're loading people. But not just any people, seemingly random people taken from on the planet and from ships that land here.
Force sensitive, I'll bet.
That is what I was thinking. If they still want people who can navigate.
Yes, but not everyone who's force sensitive can navigate.
True. Perhaps they're trying to build a Sith army. Regardless, I was told that there was another edgeling here, a woman with red hair.
Interesting.
Sound familiar?
Familiar? No. Though the chances of running into red-haired individuals. What is with that? Oh, let's like wear a magnet for them, Master.
Hell, you're a magnet for somebody. Point is, it is the Sith looking for these specific groups of people, so I'm going to stop by my quarters and change into something a little less conspicuous. And I'm going to go follow the instructions I was given and try to find the woman's hangar. I was told no one had seen her leave the planet yet. If she's still here and is willing to speak with me, then perhaps I can learn more about what's going on here.
All right.
Keep an eye on things here, supervise the loading of supplies, make sure the girls stay out of sight, and don't use the Force. If the Sith are looking for Force sensitives, any use of the Force will be like a beacon to them.
Yeah. I am definitely not going to use the Force. I mean, I wasn't planning to anyways, but yeah.
Durro will nod and head to his quarters.
Astral continue helping load supplies.
Okay. So you quickly change and head out back into the spaceport. Are either of you using force stealth or having it ready?
I was
Uh,
about to say that Durro has it ready.
Okay.
Hold on. I will roll that in just a second. 19.
I gotta get my Wi-Fi back. Hang on a second. And to answer the unspoken question, I'm using my phone with data for the voice part of this.
Mhm.
20.
Okay. Just remember to let me know your rolls are done. Just let me know when you're activating it.
Okay.
So you guys head.
And make sure you note the vitality.
Okay. And you guys head out I'm sorry, Durro heads out by himself. And you follow the instructions to the hangar. It's a medium-sized hangar with several craft, already stationed within it. Some are covered, some are not. And in the back, nestled between two rather large shuttles and nose to the wall, is a craft that seems to be, and I'll give you a general description because it's covered, but it seems to have two flat wings that come out on 90-degree angles off the center. And there appears to be off the tips of the wings this long, uh, narrow protrusion that goes forward, and it's got a long, narrow nose. Has what looks like a pair of large engines on the wings next to the fuselage.
So the covered silhouette of a headhunter.
Be correct. It's E95. Durro's seen these in combat so many times. Never forget what one.
Right, even if it is covered by a tarp.
Right. It is cleverly concealed, but it's not completely. It's not enough to fool Durro.
Clearly. So approaching the craft, what does he find?
The craft is powered down, and give me a spot check.
Okay.
Oh, nice. As you start to approach the craft, you notice that someone hiding over by one of the shuttles sends through the force. This person is healing themselves very well, but definitely healing themselves.
Durro will get closer without seeming like he is getting closer, pretending to study the craft, but moving as close as he can to their position while still appearing to move around and inspect the headhunter.
You hear from behind you. Well, not really behind you, but off to the side. You hear Astra's voice.
Durro will glance around and see if he sees the source of the voice.
You do see she's wearing of a flight suit. It doesn't take you long to realize that the flight suit she's wearing is Olivon Jedi flight suit. And he you know, her first her there's a little shock and concern and worry. Then it just kind of just melts away to joy and happiness as she lunges towards you and wraps her arms around you. Oh my God, Master. I'd never find you.
Durro will back up slightly and clearly looks confused.
I know. I know. I understand why. It's me, Astra.
Is it now?
Yes. Master, you're in grave danger. I have been cloned, and that clone is made by the Crusade, and she's with you. I've been hunting and trying to find you to save you.
And how can you be certain that you are not the clone?
You sent me into the West Side. You remember? I was captured by the Crusade. Frowns. Escape. Brutal. Shanti is with me. Stuff with me. That doesn't feel her pain. I mean, echoes. Wow. But kind of pushes through it. Here now. Here. I'm to save you. The clone. She's going to Tesara.
Durro will sigh. There is a lot to catch you up on, then.
Oh, a lot to catch you up on. Things are not well. Let's see.
When were you last in Republic space?
To go. Swarm has Olivon Scat has launched a full invasion of Lannis. Steven was able to sneak Bucklet. Saw says you can see her in her eye. I wanted to get her out of scared. Hurt.
While all this is being said, what can Durro feel from her in the Force? I mean, he's been around clones. He knows how they feel similar, but yet all unique.
Feels just like Astra. This is that presence you felt.
So that he can ascertain that this was the presence he felt.
Yes. It's worse, Master. It's far worse. I don't.
What is what?
Quinn is here. It's monster.
Yes, we know.
And it's I don't know why he's
Well, we have a few theories.
where's Tesara?
Tesara's safe. She is nowhere near the other Astra.
You can see visible relief wash over. I'm sorry, I'm being silly. You have sure you want to know things.
I do, but this is not the place to ask those questions.
What would you suggest?
My first thought is to take you back to our ship, but I'm not sure if having you in proximity with the other Astra is a good idea at this point.
Oh, she'll attack. They're programmed monsters. The fact that you guys are still alive now is so grateful.
is there somewhere we can hide, talk, and perhaps in a low-level way use the Force without attracting unwanted attention?
Night, Sith. There's Catacomb City. There's crystals.
Force crystals. Curious. Well, lead on.
He'll go over and gather up a small back as small alien looking bastard. Wade hops onto her. This way, Math. And she'll the back of the hangar. She'll, of course, tool to open up the manhole, move it to the ocean. Go down.
With a glance at her and with a glance at her and around the surroundings, he will go down into the catacombs.
Okay. She'll follow you down and then close it up behind her. It's through the sewers, but there's a crack in the wall that will lead us deeper into the catacomb. And once she gets down there, the little droid will pop. You know the Sith are waiting for something. Seen it. Force. Visions. Been more regular than normal.
I'm sure they have been.
Knew you would be here. I knew you would come here. Or when.
Well, rest assured, we will figure this out.
So, Master. We're waking up. Fuck. Shantae was there. Woke me. Terrified. They convinced me that I had to escape. Get out. But I had to know the truth. I had to know what was going on. Convinced him to. He's the one that allowed me to. Truth. Owned me. Sent that clone to you. Stops in the middle of the passageway. See her drop her shoulders out bag. Feel herself. Fool that I captured. You get sorry.
It wasn't your fault. I sent you into a situation that you were not ready for, and that I severely underestimated.
Turns and wipes her eyes. Thrown on my braver at times. Sometimes still smiles half. You'll see the sadness. Dealt with attachment. It's too many gods.
And so, how did you deal with your attachments?
I had to go. Say goodbye. So, but I knew it was the right decision.
Well, that is certainly progress.
This way. Sorry. She turns and continues on. Leads you through the maze of passageways. You're not lost, but definitely be challenging for you. It does definitely lead you to the crack in the wall. Through that and feel himself deeper yet in the cavern. Our life. It is really one of the most beautiful places Durro has ever feel the
And this place masks you from the Sith.
When they first arrived, I hid here. Found it weeks before. My vision showed it to me. Showed me that this place existed and needed.
Well, I'm glad you found it.
Still alive. The monster didn't kill you. Are you going to deal with it? You're going to destroy it.
That remains to be seen.
Fencing life. Dealt with several. See them as life. Their actions. Their
And yet, as I've experienced, clones can live a full life of their own. They may be exact copies of another, but in a very real way, they are all still unique people.
not some killed one. Saw it. It knew combat had mistaken more than copies of life. Actions of
Curious.
You have to work tomorrow, Durro?
Yes, I do, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Silence.
Kitty, are you all right?
Yes and no.
Yeah, if I was you, I would be saying the same exact thing. Yes and
Like,
no.
I knew about the fucking clone. I know what's supposed to happen. But if the fucking clone convinces Durro that the Astra on his ship isn't really Astra.
Is she?
Well, have a little faith.
And he decides to help her, I'm kind of screwed. And then all of the character development that I did with Astra originally is down the crapper.
What?
See-
You don't like Mike running away with your character?
No, I don't.
See, I heard a lot different when I was listening. And I knew that you might be worried about that. But there was a couple of things that she said, which is why I put the red flag gif up on the tech chat by the fire, which is Durro was very careful not to really give her anything. Like, he was agreeing here and there, but he wasn't really giving her any information. And one big tip to me is that she said Jedi crystals or Force crystals instead of Kyber crystals. And that to me went, that's interesting.
Well, is there a difference between a Force crystal and a Kyber crystal, or are they the same thing?
That I don't know. That's the Star Wars thing. I wouldn't know.
Well, this would be a Mike thing because there's no such. The only Force crystals there are Kyber crystals.
That's
Check
not
your
true.
chat by the fire. Durro is
Yeah,
weighing
just
in on this.
That depends on if you go by Legends continuity or Disney's continuity. Traveler has shown a perchance to take from both. So if there is some Legends influence here, then there are other crystals that have similar properties but are not Kyber, like Adegan crystals.
But like I said, Durro was not giving her a whole lot. She was blithering and blathering on quite a bit, but Durro didn't really give her much.
You are correct. He is standing back and assessing. Notice he also did not attempt to kill her right off the bat either, so.
Well, you don't usually want to kill Astra the infodump fairy.
Right?
Astra the what?
The infodump fairy.
Seriously?
So that's why I'm saying don't get too worried, Kitty. Like, I know if I was you and I put myself in your shoes several times during that conversation, like, oh my God, what would I be thinking if this was a Tesara talking to him? I would be like, WTF, man. But I wouldn't worry too much or freak out or snowball, because Durro is a very intelligent dude.
Well, I mean, from what I know of this story with the clone, the two of them are supposedly are gonna get into a fight, and whichever one of them dies is the one that had the freaking programming.
But you had the programming, and it's been removed.
Yeah, that's
Remember?
what's confusing as hell.
Yes,
Nothing with Mike's games are ever easy.
not for nothing, Durro is well aware of what he and Astra have been through, including removing both her and Hodge's programming. He's been inside Astra's head and helped her through many problems. So now this relative stranger is coming up claiming that the one he has helped so much is a clone. You're kind of not giving him any credit if you think he would be so easily swayed.
No, but I am terrified that he might be swayed.
I mean, he said it himself. How do you know you are not the clone?
Yeah.
Well, there is this piece
Hello?
of fact that must not be ignored.
Anybody?
Yeah, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Durro? He left.
Oh, damn it. I'll wait for him
What
to
piece
jump
of
back
fact
in.
that cannot be ignored?
There he is. Can you hear us, Durro?
Yeah, I was talking, but I couldn't hear anybody, so I disconnected and.
No, we were hearing you.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I could not hear responses, but now I hear people.
Okay, so there is one piece of fact that must not be ignored. The players know Astra was a clone.
Wait, how did the players know Astra was a clone?
Because they
Oh,
removed
look, a
the
butterfly.
biochip.
Because what?
Because they removed the biochip.
Astra would not have had a chip.
I thought the chip was what held the programming.
It is.
It is, but they were inserted in the clones. They weren't inserted in the original.
How do we know it wasn't implanted into the original?
Question. That's actually a really good question.
I was actually about to ask the same question. Durro knows about the chips from catching up on after the Clone Wars, but he doesn't know if chips can be implanted in already living beings or if they can only be put in clones.
I think the chances that this Astra is either another clone or the original is pretty high. The issue is she doesn't know what has happened to the Astra we have with us that is being played by Kitty. So she could be absolutely legit in her own mind that, that she's the original and she was, blah, blah, blah. But she could also be a clone with the programming in her head. And this, what she's talking about with Durro right now, could actually be her programming kicking in and she's, acting upon it. We just don't know.
So who wants to play devil's advocate? Who wants to defend the character that Durro met today?
There's also the thing with the visions. Astra's visions have been pretty non-existent for a while.
It's Astra, the one that Durro met. They have
Yeah.
gotten over her
No,
fears and is using them a lot more often and with a lot more confidence because she learned to control the ability.
That's true.
We really don't know what that Astra has been through in
yeah.
totality. I mean, how did she escape from the Crusade?
Yeah.
Which are all questions I have legit thought of in and out of character, and is why he is following along and entertaining this for now. Because there are so many questions, so many unknowns. He is not going to just dismiss this out of hand.
Well, let me ask you this, Durro. All right. Off the top of your head, any sensory questions you have through the Force or through any other means?
I had already asked if she felt like a clone through the Force, because especially Legends, but even to a lesser extent, Disney's canon has said that clones are unique in the Force, but that you can usually tell they are clones.
Right. So, come to think about it, I will argue that the original Thrawn trilogy had Luke sensing clones and realize right off the bat that they were clones because they felt identical in the.
Yes, but that was the original Thrawn trilogy in the 1990s. A lot of that has been contradicted by later material, including TCW.
Yeah. So I mean, I will concede this, that yes, your original assessment is right, and the Astra you met now is absolutely feels like Astra. There's no difference between the one you just left on the ship and the one you sense now. Now, personality wise, they're obviously a world apart.
Why would Durro? I have a question. Question for Durro. Why would he have used the Force if he knows that the Sith are there and told Astra specifically, "Don't do it"?
Because even what he learned from the shopkeeper, it seems the Sith require some kind of line of sight or close proximity to be able to pick up a Force sensitive. And him trying to feel if she felt like a clone is a very low level use of the Force. It's almost passive in a way. It was a slight risk, to be sure, but he was trying to get an idea of what he was dealing with. And observational question for Traveler, because I don't know what he considers to be canon for his story. Durro spent 3 years fighting side by side with hundreds of thousands of clones. So whether they all feel identical, like the original Thrawn trilogy, or whether they feel like clones but still have a touch of individuality, whatever the truth is, Durro would know because he has spent 3 years fighting alongside hundreds of thousands of them.
Considering that that is one book and multiple other sources has retconned that, we're gonna go with the TCW version where yes, tell they're clones, but they have a hint of individuality to them.
And yet, both of these Astras feel identical.
Correct. There's no way Durro could tell the difference other than their personality.
So, real question. Does this Astra have short hair?
So, allow me to give you a complete description of this Astra, okay? So you know. You remember the first version that Kitty put up there for her character. Let me find it real quick.
Well, Traveler, once you post the picture, I really need to go to bed. I have been reminded that this is what happens every week. We stay up until like 11:30 Eastern, and then I'm dead on my feet at work the next day.
Yeah. I apologize.
Yeah, so once you find and post that picture, I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, I have it. It's
Hold on.
there it is.
While he's looking, good night, Wanderer, and have a wonderful time on Saturday. Charlotte.
Oh, yes, we shall.
XP?
350.
Woohoo.
Well, one last question I will ask before I go to bed. Is it possible then for us to recruit this Astra to come with us and have two Astras on the ship, like permanently?
I think that I think that if you guys did that, I think Tesara will kill you.
Why?
Okay, but hear me out. Another navigator and another lightsaber, essentially, Jedi, to help in our fight against first the Sith and then Melora.
But we can't use lightsabers against Melora.
I'm not getting ganged up on by a. I'm not getting ganged up on by Double Ashanti.
But that was the other question I had. What is it? She only said that Ashanti was there, but I know the Force Friends are more than just Astra. We don't know what they are yet, but they are more than just figments of Astra's mind. So, were they cloned too? And how do you clone something that's essentially non-corporeal?
So That's a very good question that I'm going to let you guys try to find the answers. I don't want to pull the curtain back too far.
Oh yes, because we've had so much success finding the answer.
By the way, I posted the 2 pictures of her physical appearance. She's wearing a flight suit of the Olivan Order that looks like this is what she's been wearing for months, if not at least a year. She doesn't have a whole lot of gear with her. She does have a small backpack with some basic supplies. She does have another set of clothing. It looks like lab clothing. And she does have a blaster, but she doesn't have her lightsaber.
Well, yes, because that was given to the Astra that's with us.
All right, so I'm gonna push. The pictures were posted. Wanderer needs to go to bed.
Yep. Go to bed, Wanderer.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Night.
Gute Nacht.